Hello, and welcome to another book review. I haven't done one in a few months, so I want to start doing these again. And I actually read this book a few months ago. But first, let me say my name is Layla. If you are new here, this is my lifestyle channel. I talk about basically everything, and I really enjoy reading. So I have quite a few books that I can review. I always will take recommendations, so comment down below what you think are any good books for me to read. But today, I want to talk about the book 3 Feet from Gold. Now, this is written by Sharon L. Lutcher and Dr. Greg S. Reed, and they are with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. Now, when I first ordered this book, which was like months ago, for some reason I was thinking it was Napoleon Hill who wrote this book, but it was not. So it's okay though. I love Napoleon Hill, but it's with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And it's inspired by the book Think and Grow Rich, which is one of my favorite finance books, one of my favorite books in general. And if you know me, then you would know that 3 feet from gold is like my life mantra. That's constantly in my head, as well as, I may have mentioned this before, I'm not sure in what video, but there is an image of a man who is digging and like trying to find diamonds, and he's like literally 2 inches away from hitting those diamonds, but he turns around angry. And that's the same concept in the book Think and Grow Rich. It was about somebody who was about to strike gold, like literal gold in the ground. They were 3 feet away, but he gave up, sold all of his equipment, and then that person who got all his equipment was able to strike gold. So this person was 3 feet from gold and he gave up. So that's the whole thing behind it, is like, do not quit. You are so close and you don't know when you are so close. It could be any moment, you know, and this can apply to anything, your career, your health, your finances, whatever. So yeah, if I were to get anything tattooed on me, it would be this quote, 3 feet from gold, because I'm always thinking it. That's why I don't ever give up on like anything. So I wanted to review this. I actually finished this book, I think in like August. It took me like a week and a half to read. And I started reading it after I failed my Salesforce certification exam for the second time. And like I said, I ordered this months ago, so I've had it on my shelf for some time, and I didn't read it yet. And once I failed, I was like, okay, I need to read this, because I was in like a really negative headspace. And as like the day after I failed, I started reading this, and it really helped me to overcome that failure. And then I passed the 3rd time around. So not just because of this book, but it's definitely inspiring and it made me feel good. So I want to share some of my favorite quotes, some of my favorite parts of this book, which you can see I tabbed up quite a bit. And let's just go ahead and get right into it. I'll link it down below. If you're interested, I highly recommend it. It's a great read. It was super entertaining. I was engaged the whole time, and sorry, I'll get to the quotes and all that in just a second. But so this is primarily from the perspective of Dr. Greg Reed. However, it's written in a sense like a conversation throughout the whole thing. Like, it's showing his journey of talking to these people and gaining new insight into successful people's life and what they went through to get there. So that's what Sharon did. She like brought it all together and made it really nice, a really nice story. So it's super engaging, and I really liked it. First, we're gonna start with a quote from Napoleon Hill himself, which, by the way, if you haven't read Think and Grow Rich, I would start there. Every adversity, every failure, and every heartache carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Love that. This was like it's on literally page 1, and it was just nice to see that after failing something, and also just having like a rough year, a year of adversity, I guess you could say, and having failed again, and it says, and every heartache. So it was like, you know, when you fail, you kind of go through a heartache, and you feel really angry and upset, and just like self-doubt. You feel all the self-doubt coming in. So it does feel like that, but I love that it's with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. So it's like, this failure is a little seed being planted in soil, and we're gonna grow from this. So I absolutely love that quote, and for sure, like, you have to fail in order to have larger success later in life. So if you're failing at something, don't worry about it. Okay, this part I tabbed from page 19 and going into 20. Okay, so he's having a conversation with somebody, and this person says, I'd like to share with you one of the main reasons, and maybe the most important one, why only 5% of people attain success, and why the rest fail to reach their potential. And then he responds, that would be great because I want to become a millionaire. Well, Greg, you might wake up one day and discover that in fact you have accumulated $1 million, yet in reality you still may not have achieved success. As writer Ben Sweetland stated years ago, success is a journey and not a destination. Success is a way of life that you will continue as long as you live. It's about discovering your ultimate purpose and pursuing it with everything you have and everything you do. This was just a great portion that shows that, like, I appreciate that it says not a destination, because it's so true. Like, everything that you're doing, all of this is a part of the journey, you know. And I always have heard people talking about once they reach, like, I'm gonna focus on finances for this aspect because it's the easiest, but like once they reach debt freedom or financial freedom even, it's not as exciting because you're not working through that journey of like paying off debt and the hustle and the grind and the struggle of everything. And there's, you know, they have to find something else to look forward to, because once you reach that destination, it doesn't feel as good as the whole journey was. So it really makes me appreciate going through things, like even having that failure, like that's gonna make a better story. Like, I failed my admin exam twice, but I passed them this third time, and I was going through all these things, and then I ended up landing a job, you know, like it's gonna make a great story one day. So I love that it's, you know, it says success is a journey, not a destination, because that's so true. Here we have just another little quote or something he wrote down in his notebook. This is a big part of the book. He keeps like writing down things that the people are teaching him. And he wrote, the most common cause of failure is quitting. Again, 3 feet from gold. Do not give up. Even if you feel like nothing else has, you've got to just like change something. You all have heard this before, like, you're not really a failure if you fail at something, you're a failure if you quit. There's multiple quotes on that, and it's saying the same thing, because when you give up, that's when you truly fail. If it's something that you really, really want, then you quit, you are a failure in that. And that's okay if you do, you know, you did want to give up on it. But if it's something you really, really want, maybe you just have to tweak things a bit, change things up, and continue, and you won't fail. You'll just keep going. Page 24, somebody he was speaking to said, before great success comes, you will surely meet with temporary defeat. When people are overtaken by these feelings, the easiest and perhaps most logical thing to do is to quit. Quitting is exactly what the majority of people do. So he highlights, before great success comes, you will surely meet with temporary defeat. And yeah, there's so many things that I failed at, and it comes out fine on the other side, you know? So you're probably successful in something, and if you look back on what you've gone through and the things that you failed at, you can probably say that that's true for you too. Throughout this book, they talk about the success equation, and they have it as like a little formula. So it's, here, I'll show it first. So that P plus T times A equals success. So let me break down what that means for you, because I thought it was interesting. P stands for passion. Combine your passion, what you would do if you could do it for free. And then T is your talent, what you are really good at. Then multiply that by finding the right association. That's the first A. And that means working with the right people or organizations. And then taking action. That's the next A. That would equal success. So I really like this because first of all, I like that they explain passion as something you would do if you could do it for free. And I've always said this because a lot of people, I am a very passionate person. I know all the things that I'm passionate about. It's something that comes very easily to me. And I know some people struggle with finding their passion. So I always would ask people if they question that, like, what is something you would do for a while for free? And that's usually how you can find what you're passionate about. So that I really am glad that they mentioned that. You know, I'm not some crazy successful person, but I do consider myself, I consider myself, you know, somewhat successful in the things that I've done. And it's just so interesting because it's like, for example, my finance channel is a big one that I have experienced a lot more success with, at least in my mind. And I am very passionate about YouTube. Like, I would do this for free because I've basically been doing it for free all, like, many years, and like, that's fine with me. I mean, I don't want to forever, but you know what I'm saying. So also with like financial coaching, just like helping people with money, that's a passion of mine. I'm also pretty talented at it. So I'm good with money. Like I know how to talk about it. I can easily learn it. I know how to help people with it. So to me, that was like, okay, P plus T. Those are my P plus T. Association, still got to work on that, but I do definitely take action. So I thought that was a pretty cool formula, maybe something that you could write down and, you know, put it up on your mirror or something as a reminder. Okay, page 61, he was speaking with somebody. When asked what inspired him to continue his pursuit toward his purpose, his response was the knowing. He said there is a big difference between believing in something and knowing it. For example, what would be more powerful, believing you may find true love one day, or knowing that someone is waiting for you and all you need to do is move toward that person until you meet? So in his little notebook, he wrote down the knowing. There's a big difference between believing in something and knowing it. I feel this way about many things. Like I know I will get to where I want to as long as I'm alive, because that's just the type of person I am, and I know that I will continue to work toward that. I do think that's something that comes with taking action and self-discipline and growing the confidence to feel that way. And when you have that feeling, like nothing else matters. Of course, when you fail, it's not going to feel good. I didn't feel good about failing. I cried. But you know that you'll get to where you want to be or where you're supposed to be. And it's super motivating. Like you'll just keep pushing through. You won't fail. So that does take some time to get to, but if you just keep pushing forward, if you really want something, keep going for it, and you'll start feeling that knowing feeling. Okay, page 84. I liked this part, so it's going to be a little long. Let's see. He was talking to Holyfield. Is he a boxer, right? Pretty sure he's a boxer. Holyfield? Greg had asked him, but didn't it hurt getting hit all the time? And he said this. It's like this. If you focus on the blows you are receiving, the only place you'll end up is on your back. I never put much attention on the damage I was getting. I only focused on the damage I was inflicting. I never lost my focus on the job at hand. That was to hit my opponent back, but even harder. The same applies to life in general. So many people focus on the hits coming their way. They watch the news that tells them how bad things are. They listen to their friends who are unhappy in life. In other words, they focus on how many blows they are taking, when in fact, they should change their attention toward fighting back and staying on their toes. He wrote, stay on your toes, focus on the job at hand. I like this because it is something that I need to remind myself of often, because once you fail something or when you're not seeing success in something, it's easy to compare yourself to other people, or you want to think about the way things should be going or how you expected them to be going. And that's honestly self-sabotage. I'm glad I'm reading this right now because it is such a good reminder, because, for example, me trying to start a new career, I'm seeing all these other people transition really easily, it seems, and I start to question like my ability, or like, how are they doing that? How are they so much better? But like, obviously that's great for them. I'm happy for them, but it's like, where's my opportunity? You know, like what am I doing wrong? And that's just a bad way to look at it. Like I need to just focus on what I can do to move forward and what I've done correctly. There's just no point of focusing on the bad things. It's the same thing with my health. So again, I'm glad I read this because I've been struggling a lot with my health if you watch me on a regular basis. And it's like, but on the other hand, I've survived so much. I'm so proud of myself for pushing through. I've survived my hardest moments, you know? So I really liked that message. This one was just a note that he wrote down that was offered to him. People doubt their beliefs, but believe their doubts. Believe in yourself, and the world will believe in you. Love that, because the amount of self-doubt that you feel after failing something or just doing something hard is ridiculous. You start to feel like you can't do it, you have imposter syndrome, whatever it is that you're pursuing, and you just start to doubt yourself. People doubt their beliefs, but believe their doubts. We have to focus more on believing in our potential, like what we actually can do. So that's a good reminder. Another one, he wrote down, I can, I will, I am. And then it goes on to say, meaning I can do it, I will do it, I am doing it. We have to stay away from the negatives. Most people will be negative about what you are doing if you are doing something well. Fact is, if people don't criticize you, then chances are you're probably not doing enough. It's not that they think what you're doing is bad, they're just afraid that they will lose you or you'll grow away from them. So this could apply to many, many things. I can, I will, I am. This is just a good reminder to like take action. I can, meaning you believe in yourself. I will, meaning you are holding yourself accountable. And I am, as in you are actually doing it. You are taking action. So I really thought that was cool. I don't necessarily believe in the, you know, when people start criticizing you and such. Honestly, that's not something you're gonna always experience, just depending on what it is. But it could apply to some things. But I can, I will, I am. That's another good one to just like write down on a Post-it and put it by your mirror or something. Oh, here's one I didn't tab, but I like this. It's like another note that he wrote down. What's the worst that can happen? Can I handle that? If the answer is yes, then do it. That's a good one, because usually we think that things are gonna be worse off than they are if we take like a risk, and we can probably handle it, so you should just go for it. Okay, this final tab I have, I think I tabbed it so that I could record this book. So again, he was conversating with somebody. They said, learn from it and move on, assuming you did everything you could to make it right. It's the only way to move forward. And then they mentioned their favorite life-changing books is The Power of Decision. So I'll need to check that out, by Dr. Raymond Charles Barker. I will finish with this little part. Faith is everything. The amount of faith or lack thereof dictates the difference between success and failure. It is that simple. Once you have tapped into faith, you will find the strength to make all things possible. What's cool about this book too is at the end, there's like this section, I don't know how to explain it. It's like little tidbits of, you know, like tapping into your creativity, the source of habits. It just goes into a little bit more detail on smaller things like that you could just read, like, you know, tab and read on a daily basis. Budget your time, budget your money, and it asks like questions to help you to do that, like kind of go through an activity. Those are the main points that I saved. Those were the ones that really stood out to me. But overall, again, this book was really, really good and something that inspired me to keep on going. This was a big part of me not giving up on that exam. So I pushed through, and then a few weeks later, I retook the exam and I passed it. I think this is gonna be a book that I return to a few times. Like if I were to experience failure again like that, where it's like really heavy on you, then I would go back to this book, or at least read through a few of these tabbed things and focus on the ones that really stick out to me, because it happens, that's life. Like you're gonna fail, and if you didn't fail, like how would you, like everything would suck if you didn't fail. Like you have to experience failure and the bad things to feel the good things too, and to appreciate the successes. All of it's gonna make a better story later. So the more that you fail now and face adversity now, this is gonna make for a better story in the future. And I love that. So wherever you are, whatever you're experiencing, it is okay. You can feel free to feel upset. I actually think I wanna make a whole nother video on dealing with failure. I started a blog post on it, so I'll probably make a video on that, because it can be a tough situation to go through depending on what it is. But before that, I will just say you just gotta keep pushing through, and you will succeed in whatever it is that you're doing. Just keep on going and don't give up. That's my review of 3 Feet from Gold. Again, I will link this down below. Let me know if you've read this and what you thought of it, if you did, or let me know if you're gonna pick it up and read it, and then feel free to come back and let me know. Comment down below if there are any book requests for me to review, or any books that you really recommend. It can be fiction or nonfiction. I'm open to everything at this point. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And that's it. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next video.